But first things first, Nehi, we've got to take a look at the US markets then.
Absolutely, and the handover looking rather weak, Shreyansi, when you take a look at the US markets. Hi there, good morning. Let's take a look at what Wall Street did in yesterday's trade, and stock futures rose slightly in overnight trading yesterday as traders await an all-important policy speech from Fed Chair Jerome Powell today for any guidance of the future rate cuts. Now, remember, the Fed Chairman is set to speak today from the central bank's annual conclave in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Is expected to signal it's appropriate for the central bank to begin lowering interest rates soon, with limited clues about the magnitude and frequency of the reductions. But nonetheless, all eyes are going to be on this speech today for lots of clues about any rate cuts, their trajectory, their stance on inflation, and a whole lot of other commentary that will be coming out from this Jackson Hole meeting. Remember, today Bank of England governor is also all set to speak in this meeting, and on Thursday, which is yesterday, in the run-up to the Jackson Hole speech, stocks were pressured by a surge in treasury yields. The S&P 500 fell almost 1%. Nasdaq has declined 1.7%, suffering its worst day since the 5th of August, and the blue chip Dow lost 177 points as well. So while handover is looking to be rather weak when you take a look at the US markets, and well, yes, S&P 500 also 1% lower, Dow 0.5% lower is where it has ended the day. Markets are betting on a 0.25 percentage point cut at the September 17-18 meeting and leaving open about 1 in 4 chance for a 0.5 percentage point reduction. Basically, 25% of the economists polled and the street is actually expecting a 0.5% rate cut. This is according to CME Group's Fed Watch tool, and minutes from the July session showed a vast majority of members in favor of a September cut, remember. But when you take a look at all of these three indices from a weekly basis, the Dow and the S&P 500 are still up modestly this week. However, Nasdaq is down 0.1% week to date, poised to post its 5th negative week in 6. So basically, that is what the handover is looking like. We did speak about treasury yields. Let's take a look at what US 10-year is up to as of now, and 3.841. They rose slightly as traders were awaiting these remarks coming in from Jackson Hole today. But as of now, trading with very nominal cut. But well, yes, 3.843 is where the US bond is as of now, the 10-year treasury yield. But with that, let's also take a look at the European markets quickly. DAX is shut with an uptick of 0.2%. FTSE rather flat, but a 4-point uptick coming in, so in the green nonetheless. And Stock 600 also 0.3% higher. So largely, this is what the US handover is looking like. But Shreyansi, do tell us what's happening with crude and gold as well.
Well, absolutely, and it's a very interesting picture that we're seeing shape up, Snehi, for both oil as well as gold. Firstly, let's take a look at US crude oil, because US crude oil rose to $73 per barrel after raising most of its gains for the year, as soft demand in China as well as worries about the US economy weighed on the market. So that's the kind of concern that we've seen emerging in the market, and that has largely been in the spotlight. Now, the US benchmark is now up about 2% for the year despite all of this. While when you take a look at global benchmark Brent crude as well, that has erased virtually all of its gains for 2024, like I mentioned. Now, the benchmarks are down 15.7% as well as 14.8% respectively from April highs, which was when Israel and Iran nearly went to war as well. Now, when you take a look at the close coming in on Wednesday, oil prices settled more than 1% lower after US job growth was revised significantly lower, renewing those concerns about the strength of the world's largest economy. And those have been the concerns that have been in the spotlight. When you take a look at price movements, then you're looking at WTI October contract around those $73 per barrel levels, uptick of about 1.5% coming in there as well. Year to date, when you take a look at the contract, that has gained 1.9%. Let's also take a look at Brent and see the moves that we've seen there as well, because that was around $77 per barrel, uptick of about 1.5% coming in for that one. When you take a look at the year to date movement as well, the global benchmark is marginally up about 0.2% thereabouts. So those are the kind of moves that we've seen coming in for both WTI as well as Brent.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.